morning, grade 4s. Today we're going to talk about what an adverb is. Now, an adverb is very similar to an adjective, but it is a describing word for a different type of word. So let's just take a look here at what this says. An adverb describes not a noun, but a verb. It answers the question, how? So for example, if you ever see a sentence and you find yourself asking, how did the verb happen? The adverb is going to give you the answer. Another clue to tell you it is an adverb is most adverbs end in ly. So for example, if you have a word like happy, if I change that to happily with the ly, it usually becomes an adverb. Now let's look at two sentences to really see the difference between our adjectives and our adverbs. So in these two sentences, I have the same word describing here. The first one says the girl was sleepy. And the second one says the girl yawned sleepily. Which one do you think is the adverb? Well, if you said the second one, you would be correct because it ends in ly. It's describing how the girl yawned. So those two things make it an adverb versus sleepy, which is describing the girl herself. So if it describes a noun, it's an adjective. If it describes a verb, it's going to be my adverb, just like that. So how do we change adjectives into adverbs? Let's give that a try by looking at Think B. So in Think B, we are going to change each of these adjectives into adverbs, and then we're going to write a sentence using the adverb, so describing how the verb does something. So let's start with radiant. In order to turn radiant into an adverb, all I'm going to do is add ly. Radiantly. And radiantly means like it's shining brightly, like really brightly. So I could say a sentence like this. The sun shone radiantly. And that would be a sentence with an adverb because the word radiantly is describing my verb, which is shining. There we go. Now the second one, changing this one to an adverb, is a little bit trickier because it ends with y. Thinking back to all our rules about words that end with y, what do you think I have to change the y to? If you said I, you would be correct. So my adjective for this one would be angry. Y turns into an I. Ly. And then I add the ly, just like if I was pluraling the word. So angrily looks like that. He shouted angrily. The word angrily is describing how he shouted. And then finally, the word nervous. This one doesn't end with a Y, so I don't have to do anything special. I'm just going to write the word nervous and then add the ly on the end. And my sentence is going to be, Zach waited nervously. How did Zach wait? He waited nervously. So once again, it's answering that question. How did they do the verb? Very good. Let's go all the way back to Think A now and try finding some adverbs in sentences. So in Think A, we're going to do three things. We're going to mark the sentence. We're going to circle the adverb. And then we're going to draw an arrow that connects the adverb to the verb that it describes. So here's my first sentence. I'm going to start with Think A. Number 1. The brass instruments played each note clearly. As always, I'm going to start by finding my verb, and in this case, it's an action-y verb. So I'm going to double underline played. Next, I'm going to ask the question, who played? Oh, the instruments played. So I'm going to single underline instruments, draw a line in between the two. Now I have my subject and verb marked. Now to find the adverb, I'm going to look for the verb or the word that answers the question, how did he play? Did he play each? That doesn't really make sense. Did he play note? That doesn't really make sense either. Did he play clearly? That is the one that answers how. So clearly is going to be my adverb. I can also tell because clearly ends with an ly, so it's nice and easy to find. Let's look at the second one. The audience listened closely to each sound. So first of all, I'm going to look for my verb. Listened is my action verb. Who listened? The audience did. So audience is going to be my subject. Draw a line to separate them, and then I'm going to think about the word that describes how they listened. Did they listen the? Did they listen each? No, they listened closely. So closely is my adverb. It's describing listened. And hey, it also ends in ly, so it's nice and easy to find. Try the rest of them out, grade 4s, and see how you do.